Sup flappers, welcome back to another video, and as Hu Tao's banner draws near, it's time that we start visiting some of the units that is best paired with Hu Tao, because I know at this point I've made a video promoting Hu Tao, I made a video unpromoting Hu Tao, and I've at this point showed you guys the good, the bad, and the ugly regarding Hu Tao. Pull at your own risk. There is no way I will feel any guilt going forward if people come like, well, damn, I really regret pulling Hu Tao because I've said everything that I could. Alright, if you guys are buying into the hype, understand what you are getting yourselves into, and today we're going to be focusing on some of the best teammates you can possibly play Hu Tao with in every different circumstances and the pros and cons of some of these units. Of course, this may seem like it's a bit overly complicated at first, but I guarantee you there are a lot of potential teammates with Hu Tao, and as you can see already in front of me, some of you guys may agree with some of these units, some of you guys may not, but trust me, I played with every single possible iteration with Hu Tao. I've been playing her since patch 1.3, have never dropped her out of my teams. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. No mumbo jumbo. I'm just gonna start right now. Hu Tao with Xingqiu, no brainer. It's the best vape synergy you can get in the game. Xingqiu is just too perfect for Hu Tao, and I don't think we need to be talking about and dwelling on Xingqiu for too long. Okay, so moving straight on to Fischl. Now this is the premier overload reaction for Fischl. Of course, now that we have Raiden Shogun, that also can work with Hu Tao. In fact, it's a great combo that I do think definitely outperforms the Fischl variant. But right now, as you can see, they're all 4-star characters that are relatively free to play at this point. If you don't have Xingqiu, if you don't have Fischl, there's no freaking way you don't have Kaya. I know that for sure. All right, you have Kaya. So Kaya right now is like the cheap budget melt synergy you can pair with Hu Tao, and you can throw Kaya in the team with Hu Tao along with a Diona, and you can get that cryo resonance on top of Hu Tao. It's a great and cheap synergy you can put together, slap together, and get good reaction damage. It's not going to out DPS Xingqiu, but it's very good and consistent if you have your Kaya built. I know some of you guys really like this character Kaya. He's pretty underplayed in a lot of different teams, and I do think he deserves a shout out essentially in this variation. Now, apart from Xingqiu, we're gonna go now into some of the 5-star alternatives that can do exactly what this does: vaporize, overload, and melt. Now let's look at the better variations. Okay, as mentioned before, Xingqiu stays. Raiden Shogun is currently pretty sweet to play with Hu Tao. It feels pretty good, but I wouldn't suggest playing her with Hu Tao for mobbing or for Abyss, for floors that generally have a lot of mobs, because trust me, you're going to be spending too much time chasing after mobs, especially if your Hu Tao is at C0. You do not have the stamina to spare to play overload with general mobs. If you have C1, you're going to have more stamina to spare. Overload can work with mobs if you prefer that playstyle, or you prefer the Raiden Shogun in your team, right? A lot of the times at this point, it's preferred playstyle versus actual optimizing gameplay. Okay, so just letting you know, C0 Hu Tao Overload is going to be a pain in your ass cheeks, so probably should avoid it if you don't have C1. If you're fighting bosses, that's not going to be an issue, so it's strictly to mobbing. All right, going forward, for melt synergy, what can I say, right? Of course, it's going to be Ganyu with her burst skill, with her elemental skill, right? And with how she can also reverse melt Hu Tao's pyro markings. It's a match made in heaven. Ganyu has the scaling to hit some crazy numbers in synergy with Hu Tao when Hu Tao does have off field time. So these are going to be the premier offensive synergies you can pair with Hu Tao. Now, let's move on to some of the support units you really want to focus on if you want to really crack Hu Tao up to the max. So now we're back at the 4-star options again, and a good buddy in the 4-star category that you can pair with Hu Tao is Xiangling. She offers great pyro consistency, and also, of course, being pyro, these two share the same particle type. Now, going forward, we have Diona. She's gonna be a great overall support to Hu Tao, because as you guys know, Hu Tao does perform best when under 50% HP, and a lot of players do want to constantly try to keep her at that threshold. It's easy to lose HP, but it's hard to stop that kind of bleeding and play around with 13, 14k HP all the time. Of course, if you have cracked artifacts, you can get her to around 16k, maybe a little more than that, but still, that is pretty much one combo away in floor 12 from just getting completely wiped. Okay, so Diona is gonna stop any more excessive bleeding with her shielding, and also you can tune Diona's artifacts for her burst skill to not overheal Hu Tao too easily. Depending on what you need, mix and match her artifacts. Diona is definitely one of those flexible characters who can make your life as a Hu Tao player a lot easier. And of course, every time she uses E, she's gonna apply that cryo onto the enemy, give your Hu Tao a little more finesse. All right, if you want to hit that big burst damage as well, you can just swing around too and just use elemental skill for Diona, apply the cryo, and bam, swing for the burst skill. Unfortunately, Venti lifts the enemy off the ground, and when you're playing Hu Tao, yeah, you can say like, well, what if I use my burst skill? Yeah, that works, but I mean, why not just use Kazuha? Kazuha is the better version of Venti, especially for Hu Tao, because Kazuha can also group enemies with its elemental skill more consistently versus Venti, who can only do it with its burst skill, and sometimes you need to reposition enemies, you need to pull them together just a little bit so Hu Tao can skewer them with a charge attack. Kazuha just works better, feels better comparatively to Venti. So if you have a Kazuha, definitely consider running him with Hu Tao if you want to have a Nemo in your team. That's better than Sucrose for sure. And of course, you want to hit that big PP damage, you always have Mona. Mona's going to be here, of course. She's going to provide Vaporize and also the mark. You guys know how Mona works. We don't need to go through and explain it. That's for that big PP burst damage, but really kind of falls off a little bit if you're talking about facilitating Hu Tao's consistent charge attack damage. All right, so this is going to be your burst option. And of course, the man himself, we got Papa Zhongli. Who is better than securing an HP threshold? Zhongli is going to be that guy. Come in, shield Hu Tao, and making sure she doesn't drop any lower than you want her to. Without a doubt, Zhongli is going to be the best support you can run with Hu Tao. It's just so comfortable. You can get away with C0 much better. You can mess up your combos. You can just do whatever you want. You can still hit huge numbers without the risk of messing up and running low on stamina and then becoming a sitting duck on higher floors of the abyss. So for anybody who has Zhongli, just rest assured to know that your Hu Tao is going to be able to do a ton more damage than those who don't have Zhongli, because you'll be spending more stamina dodging, running away, as opposed to actually dealing damage, standing your ground, tanking hits like they're nothing, while dishing out some insane numbers. So finally, I'm going to leave you guys with some team that I do think you guys should definitely try out when first building Hu Tao. Team 1 is going to be a more offensive focused team with Diona. Gonna be that single defensive centerpiece. Yeah, Xingqiu damage mitigation, but if you have a shield, damage mitigation doesn't really matter that much. Xingqiu really is here for the offense, on top of Ganyu with her burst skill supporting the entire team. So knowing that when you have Xingqiu fielded, if you have Ganyu burst running, you don't have Hu Tao, Hu Tao's on CD, you do know that you can run a short freeze to buy some more time as well. This team is pretty insane. It can get you through all the floors of the Abyss, no problem. It is Abyss ready. Big thumbs up from me. Try it out. And we're going into team 2. A lot of people are going to be like, oh, nope. Got Bennett on the team. I'm out. But listen, this team's Bennett is not really here to facilitate Hu Tao, but rather Raiden Shogun. Raiden Shogun is going to be functioning as your support DPS. This is going to be an overload team. It feels really good, especially with Zhongli supporting as well. Yeah, you got 2 Archons and a freaking Hu Tao with the Bennett. This team's going to be cracked, all right? Trust. It's just that you have to be very careful when fielding Bennett with Hu Tao, of course, especially if your Hu Tao is running that Staff of Homa. You don't want Hu Tao to go above 50% HP. Understand, you can use Bennett to facilitate Raiden Shogun instead, and only use Bennett on Hu Tao if Hu Tao is like below 20%. Get 2 ticks with Bennett, because you don't need to be running full HP artifacts on Bennett for this team. You have Zhongli, dudes. All right, don't overstack HP. Focus Bennett more on energy regen for that consistent burst uptime, and your Hu Tao's not going to overheal. Along with Zhongli's shield, Hu Tao's going to be doing big PP damage with Bennett's burst for 2 ticks, which is good enough for her burst skill and maybe 1 charge attack. And then you're going to be able to switch to Raiden Shogun to do some insane damage. All right, try this team out if you guys just have these 2 units. Oh my god, Chef's Kiss Overload feels good over here. Now, a team as old as Hu Tao's conception, this is like the true tested team for Melt Hu Tao. It's so freaking good. Xiangling, Hu Tao, Diona, Ganyu. Ganyu is going to be the support DPS. And I mean, this team speaks for itself, all right? If you guys see this team, you guys are curious, what really happens is Ganyu uses burst, Xiangling uses burst, Hu Tao goes Oompa Loompa. All right, it's very, very fun, very addictive to play this team. You got Diona's shield, so you're good to go. You got enough heal, you got enough shield and protection for Ganyu as well whenever she does need to take on the field. And yeah, you also got Guoba here. If you guys don't know what Guoba does, he drops a little chili, so it just adds extra damage into the team. Oh, it feels so amazing to play this team. This is the best, I would personally say, melt team you can run with Hu Tao. All right, that's it, people. These are some of the best units along with some of the best teams you can run for all offensive capabilities. I wish you guys the best of luck summoning Hu Tao. If you have any more questions, I will be going live later today regarding Hu Tao and just talking about Genshin in general. So hope to see you guys in my live stream. So until then, urge you all to stay safe and peace.